Let me bring in somebody who's more than qualified to talk about that. It's my partner in crime, contributes to the show Get Up in the Mornings, contributes to First Take on ESPN, contributor and on Monday Night Football, okay, NFL Live, Swagu himself, the one and only Marcus Spears. What's up, big boy? How you doing, man?
What's up, my brother? I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, man, please. Thank you so much. Talk to me about what you saw Sunday when you watched the Baltimore Ravens lose in the fashion that they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and those boys. What were your thoughts?
One, I saw organizational failure. Secondly, I'm going where you were going, to Lamar Jackson, because we expected, first of all, I think I swayed you to believe that this was the time for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, you did.
And especially Lamar Jackson. And the reason being is because I saw, one, the Baltimore Ravens were a better team than Kansas City all season long. Lamar obviously playing at an MVP level. The success that they were having, I literally said that they have to beat themselves in order to lose a football game. Now, you can make an argument that they did. You can look back at that game and see a lot of things that would tell you the Baltimore Ravens are more of the cause of their disaster that they had against the Kansas City Chiefs than the actual Kansas City Chiefs team. For as great as Patrick Mahomes is, and we saw him manage the game in the second half and not get too wild, it was only 17 points for a long time in that football game. And credit Steve Spagnuolo and credit the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but this was about Lamar Jackson. This was about Todd Monken, but more so, I'm focusing on the quarterback because we expect you to make plays to even it up. We expect you to make plays to take a lead. We expect you to use your legs to dominate and create opportunities for your offense. He looked rattled. He looked nervous. He looked unsure of himself, and he looked putrid compared to what we had seen all season long. But especially against good teams. Do you not remember? That's the same team that dominated the San Francisco 49ers. That's the same team that tore the Detroit Lions apart. This Baltimore Ravens team is what we're talking about. And for them to get to an AFC championship at home against Patrick Mahomes, everything in my mind told me that the Lamar Jackson that I've been seeing, the mentality that Lamar Jackson has, he should have been more than ready for that moment to be a superstar walking away from that game.
So is the word choke a bit excessive, or is it apropos in this situation based on everything you just articulated?
Well, you know, choke to me is different, Stephen A., because, listen, you had opportunities. Obviously, he hit the deep ball to Zay Flowers, and we talked about the misses.
Zay Flowers waited about a year and a day for that ball to fall into his arms. He was wide open, and then it had more air under the ball. I mean, damn. I mean, come on now. I don't know how much credit I can give Lamar Jackson for that throw. He stood there waiting, called this girl, ordered room service, and everything else in between before the ball landed in his arms.
Okay, I'll give you that. So we can attribute choke. You've swayed me. But I'm going to say choke more so because Lamar Jackson tried to beat Patrick Mahomes instead of beating the Kansas City Chiefs. And Lamar Jackson forgot that he was the most dynamic playmaker on the field. And he wanted to stand in the pocket. And that's why you can't acknowledge this without talking about Todd Monken setting him up for success. But ultimately, Stephen A., you know it. We love basketball, and you know how much I love it. Man, when it's time to take over the game, I don't give a damn what the call is. I don't care what your coach is saying. Be the Lamar Jackson that we all expected you to be. Go rush for 120 yards if the pass is not there. Take off out of the pocket like Patrick Mahomes did a couple times to go pick up a first down. I was infuriated, bro. I was so frustrated with his lack of energy towards going get a win, as opposed to, you know how people say, well, I'm going to let the game come to me. It felt like Lamar Jackson was doing that all game. And that's what pissed me off more than anything.
I'm going to throw this at you. There's an upside to all of this. As much as depressed as we all are, that we didn't see Lamar Jackson, because we wanted that brother in that Super Bowl. We wanted to see him on that stage. We would have still been wondering, what's he going to bring? In the case of Patrick Mahomes, we're not wondering about a damn thing. We know what he's going to do. I mean, we're at that point right now where it is just clear what Patrick Mahomes is going to do on the field. It's just a matter of whether or not Rice or Valdez-Scantling or somebody else is going to drop passes or catch passes. That's what we're looking at, because what I saw from that San Francisco defense, at least in that first half, against Detroit, if I'm Andy Reid, if I'm him, Pacheco's getting that ball in the first half.
Sir.
I want to see him run that football against San Francisco because I think it could happen. What do you make of what you've seen from Kansas City?
I love what Kansas City has done. And Stephen A., to your point, they've leaned into Isaiah Pacheco a lot. So I don't expect them to get away from it. Their formula is working from an offensive standpoint. Here's the other thing. As much as we talk about them not being able to stop the run, Jared Goff was having his way in the passing game in the first half as well. Now, that's a product of the success that they were having on the ground. But if you having success on the ground and Patrick Mahomes, your quarterback, you ain't coming back from 24-7. You could cancel that. The Super Bowl will be over at halftime if the first half goes like it went against the Detroit Lions. And I'm sure San Francisco gonna make adjustments. I'm sure they're going to try to, obviously get that run game fixed. But remember, too, Kansas City going into this game with the better defense than they had when they played them the first time. And a better defense than since Patrick Mahomes has been there. Even though they had success.
Offense. Not a better offense, though. Not a better offense, though.
No, not a better. But Stephen A., ain't that the reason we thought Baltimore would win?
Yeah.
That's the reason.
I'm just thinking about it this way, Swagu. I'm thankful that Tyreek Hill ain't in Kansas City, because it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair. I mean, it just wouldn't be fair. I like competition, and there would be no competition if Patrick Mahomes had Tyreek Hill to throw the football to, along with Kelsey, along with Pacheco running the football with the defense that they now have in Kansas City right now as a number 2 ranked defense. But I say this to you, Purdy, what did you see from Purdy to make you think he would be better suited to go up against Lamar Jackson? I'm sorry, to go up against Patrick Mahomes than Lamar Jackson was. Talk to me about that.
The athleticism, the improv, the sense of urgency that he had, not only this past game, but in the fourth quarter against the Green Bay Packers when he had a lot of success and had to make a game-winning drive. The second half, when he obviously came back and did what he needed to do against Detroit, he was as responsible for San Francisco resurgence in the second half as anybody. And that's what we have been waiting on. Stephen A., it was fair to talk about Brock Purdy and whether this was a product of Kyle Shanahan and why they're having so much success. That's fair. Like, the biggest detriment, and I've said it before, to Brock Purdy and his attention was the fact that he was in San Francisco, a team we had already seen go to NFC championships and a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. So in order to get the credit that Brock Purdy deserves, and probably deserved before people started giving him credit, he had to do something like this. He had to have a moment where everything was against him and nothing was going right, and he was the catalyst. He was the catalyst. Well, he was the reason in the second half of that football
Well, let me say this to you, last question, because the list is fluid. So I want you to know that, okay? With that being said, I'm assuming you have the right to change your mind, because we got a couple of weeks. You go on with Kansas City over San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm not picking against Patrick Mahomes again, bro. We had our one time where me and you tried to go to Vegas and make as much money as possible betting on the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
Everything was lined up, and 15 walked into M&T Bank Stadium like he was playing football with his kids in the backyard. And it didn't matter who was standing across from him. And we've seen it happen enough now to know that if he loses, it's usually because of a phenomenal performance from somebody else on the other team. I'm not willing to bet that. I'm a bet for 15 every time. I don't give a damn what's going on.
You my boy. I love you. You know that. You know, nothing but love for you, man. Appreciate you. I just feel obligated to give you this little nugget of information that you may not have had. Do you know that in his second season, Brock Purdy already has as many playoff victories as Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott combined? He's doubled both of them up. Both of them have 2 playoff victories. He has 4 in 2 years. Lamar Jackson's been in the league 6 years. Dak Prescott has been in the league going on 9. Did you know that?
Well, Stephen A., you know it breaks my heart to acknowledge that.
Right.
Because one, you know, I'm a fan of the Dallas Cowboys,
right,
and it bothers me a lot that you
right,
write every single year.
Right.
But you also know we have a lot of conversations about this. What pisses me off the most about this is the fact that I can't have an argument for any other quarterback in the NFC outside of Matthew Stafford.
Right.
When it comes to clutch in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There's no other guy. So, and now you put Lamar in context, and it's like, bro, this was the best path.
Right.
Now, I don't know if it's going to happen next year or the rest of his career.
Right.
This was the best path for both of them. For both of them.
For him and Dak Prescott.
Strong.
But let's hold on. Let's end this you know, your visit to the Stephen A. Smith show by peeling that one sentence out that you said. It breaks your heart because Stephen A.'s right every time. You did say that.
I did say that, but people know that when they come to the Cowboys, you guess right, you say it.
I'm not guessing. I haven't guessing. I mean, I'm prophetic. Appreciate you, big boy. Appreciate you, big boy.
Right,
Love you, man. The one and only Marcus Smith, a.k.a. Swagu, right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show.